Tonight, we begin a slow and peaceful journey, drifting gently back through time to a world both distant and quietly familiar. A land of golden sands, soft winds, and endless skies, where a single river flowed steadily through the heart of the desert, bringing life to everything it touched. Ancient Egypt. So, allow your body to settle. Let your shoulders soften. And as you listen, let your thoughts drift, like calm water under moonlight. There is nothing to remember, nothing to follow. Only gentle stories, carried on a quiet voice, long before cities filled with light, before machines, before noise. There was only the land and the river, the Nile, a slow, patient, and life-giving river. It did not rush. It did not change suddenly. It simply flowed, steady and certain, through the sands. The people of ancient Egypt understood something very deeply. Without the Nile, there would be no life here. Each year, almost like a quiet promise, the river would rise, not in violence, but in a slow, gentle flood. The waters would spread across the land, and when they receded, they left behind something precious, a dark, rich soil, soft to the touch and full of life. This soil made it possible to grow food, even in a place surrounded by desert. And so, the Egyptians gave their land a name, the Black Land, not for darkness, but for life. Beyond this narrow ribbon of fertility lay a very different world. Endless stretches of dry sands, hot, silent, and vast. And this was known as the Red Land, a place of heat and stillness, but also a natural shield, because few could cross it easily. It helped protect Egypt from outside threats. And so, between the black soil and the red desert, a civilization quietly flourished. Most people lived close to the river, where life was simplest, where water was always near, and the land was kind. In the early morning, before the sun grew strong, farmers would step into their fields. They grew wheat and barley, simple crops, but deeply important. From wheat, they made bread. From barley, they made beer. These were not luxuries, but daily comforts. Meals were modest, often shared with family, eaten slowly, in the shade, while the river flowed nearby, and there was a rhythm to life here, a gentle pattern that repeated day after day, planting, growing, harvesting, resting, and then beginning again. Everything followed the quiet timing of the Nile. The homes of ancient Egypt were simple, but carefully designed. They were built from mud bricks, made from the very earth beneath their feet. These bricks held the coolness inside, protecting families from the heat of the day. Windows were small, letting in just enough light, while keeping the burning sun outside. Inside, the air felt still, soft and shaded. And when the nights grew warm, families would climb to their rooftops, flat, open spaces, where they could lie beneath the sky, looking up at the same stars that still shine above us today. And the air would cool, a soft breeze passing through, and sleep would come gently. As time passed, this quiet civilization began to grow, not quickly, but steadily. With each passing generation, skills improved, ideas expanded, and dreams became larger. People began to think beyond daily life, beyond farming and shelter, towards something more lasting, something that could remain even after they were gone, and slowly rising from the earth, stone by stone. Those dreams took shape. In the distance, against the pale sky, great structures began to appear, massive, still, and timeless. The pyramids, they were not built in haste, but with patience, care, and remarkable precision. These were tombs, resting places for kings and the rulers of ancient Egypt, known as pharaohs. Among them, the most famous stand at Giza, silent and enduring, watching over the desert for thousands of years. The Great Pyramid, once the tallest structure ever built by human hands, stood for nearly 4,000 years, a quiet reminder of what careful effort and shared purpose can create. Each stone block, heavy, solid, and unmoving, was lifted, placed, and aligned with care. Not by slaves, as many once believed, but by skilled workers, people who were fed, respected, and part of something greater than themselves. And slowly, over time, the pyramids rose, not just as monuments, but as symbols of belief, of continuity, and of a deep connection between life and eternity. And now, imagine, standing at a distance, the air warm but calm, the desert stretching endlessly around you. Before you, the pyramids rise into the fading light, still, unmoving, unchanged. And somewhere nearby, the Nile continues to flow, just as it always has, steady, quiet, endless. Life in ancient Egypt moved with this rhythm. The river decided when to plant, when to harvest, when to rest. And even now, after thousands of years, the Nile still flows, just as it did then. As this part of the journey comes to a gentle pause, you can feel everything slowing. The air, the light, your breath. There is no need to go further just yet. Only to rest here for a moment, in this quiet, ancient world. As we continue our quiet journey, let your thoughts drift once more, softly and without effort, like a small boat moving slowly along the Nile at night. There is no hurry here, only time and stillness and stories, waiting gently to be told. At the center of this ancient world, there was a single figure, both powerful and deeply symbolic. The pharaoh, to the people of Egypt. The pharaoh was more than a ruler. He was believed to be a living god, a bridge between the earth and the divine. Someone who carried the responsibility of keeping the world in balance. This balance had a name. Machat, a quiet idea, but an important one. It meant harmony, order, and the natural flow of life. As long as this balance remained, the Nile would rise, the crops would grow, and life would continue as it should. Pharaohs wore crowns that reflected their power and carried simple tools, a crook and a flail. Symbols not just of control, but of guidance and care. Like a shepherd watching over the people, the world of ancient Egypt was filled with stories, soft, symbolic stories of gods, animals, and the sky above. One of the most important was Ra, the sun god. Each morning, as the sun rose, it was believed that Ra began a journey across the sky, traveling in a solar boat, bringing light and warmth to the world. And as evening came, he did not disappear. Instead, he continued his journey through the quiet darkness of the underworld, only to rise again the next day. A gentle cycle, endless and reassuring. Then there was Osiris, the god of the afterlife, often shown wrapped like a mummy, calm and still. He represented what came after, a peaceful continuation beyond life. And Anubis, with the head of a jackal, watched over the dead, a quiet guardian, guiding souls gently into the next world. These ideas were not meant to frighten, but to comfort. They reminded people that life did not simply end. It changed. To the ancient Egyptians, death was not something to fear. It was a transition, a soft step into another kind of existence. But this journey required preparation, careful, respectful, and slow. This is where mummification began, a process that could take many days, even weeks. The body was gently preserved, using natural salts, drying it carefully, so it would remain whole. Then, it was wrapped, layer after layer, in soft linen, each movement done with intention, with patience, with quiet respect. Sometimes, small amulets were placed within the wrappings, tiny objects, believed to protect the soul on its journey forward. Once prepared, the body would be placed in a tomb, not an empty space, but a carefully arranged resting place, peaceful and still. Inside, there were objects from daily life, food, tools, personal belongings, things that might be needed in the afterlife. The walls of these tombs were not bare. They were covered in images, carvings, and paintings, telling stories, moments from a person's life, preserved in quiet color, so that even in stillness, their story would continue. Among these resting places, one became especially well known. A tomb, hidden for thousands of years, undisturbed, silent, waiting. It belonged to a young king, Tutankhamun. He became pharaoh at a very early age, and his life was short. But his tomb remained sealed beneath the sands until it was discovered in 1922. Inside, time seemed to stand still. Golden objects, delicate jewelry, and a mask, crafted with extraordinary care, everything placed gently, as if waiting for the king to return. This discovery offered a quiet window into the past, a glimpse of a life long gone, but not forgotten. The ancient Egyptians also found a way to record their thoughts, their stories, and their lives. Not with simple letters, but with symbols. Their writing system, known as hieroglyphs, was made of images. Each symbol carried meaning, a sound, an idea, a moment. These symbols were carved into stone or written on papyrus, a smooth material, made from plants that grew along the Nile, light, flexible, and surprisingly strong. Those who learned to write were known as scribes. Their work was important and deeply respected, because through writing, memories could last. Over time, the people of ancient Egypt developed many ideas, some small, some lasting. And they created a calendar by watching the stars, noticing patterns, repeating cycles, moments that returned again and again. This helped them understand when the Nile would rise, when to plant, and when to harvest. They also practiced early medicine, using herbs, natural remedies, simple treatments. They studied the body, learning from observation and experience. This knowledge helped them not only in healing, but also in preserving life, even after death. There were also softer details, quiet parts of life that brought comfort. Cats were highly valued, seen as protectors of the home, graceful, calm, and watchful. Music was part of everyday life. Soft sounds created by simple instruments, rhythms that moved gently through homes and gatherings. Perfumes were used as well, made from flowers and oils. Light, pleasant scents carried on the air, and boats moved slowly along the Nile. A peaceful way to travel, guided by the current and the wind. Now, imagine the evening returning once more. The warmth of the day, slowly fading away. A soft breeze drifts across the Nile, carrying the gentle sound of water. Touching the shore, a small wooden boat moves quietly, its reflection shimmering in the dim light. In the distance, a temple stands, still and unchanged, as it has for centuries. Above, the sky deepens, from gold to soft purple. And then, tonight, the stars begin to appear, one by one, just as they did thousands of years ago. Ancient Egypt, a land of quiet rivers, endless sands, and timeless stories. As your thoughts grow softer and your breathing slows, you can let the day fade away. There's nothing more to follow, nothing more to hold on to. Only this gentle drifting feeling, carrying you further and further into rest.